On a beautiful morning, the little cat students excitedly prepared for their first field trip of the year. The cat teacher stood at the bus door, checking her list and carefully counting each student to make sure no one was left behind. Inside the bus, the atmosphere was lively. The little cats sat next to each other, chattering about the exciting things awaiting them at their destination. The bus driver, an old cat with silver whiskers, smiled as he drove, occasionally glancing at the happy faces of the students through the rearview mirror. The bus was filled with excitement as the students eagerly talked to one another. Suddenly, one of the tires burst, causing the bus to shake violently.
Oh no!
The old cat driver tried to stay calm, but the bus lost control and crashed into a street lamp. The bus came to a sudden stop, and shortly after, flames began to rise from the front of the vehicle. The cat students panicked, screaming and trying to find a way to escape. The cat teacher quickly calmed the students, trying to take control of the situation. She grabbed a fire extinguisher and used all her strength to break the bus windows. One by one, the little cats crawled through the broken windows, trying to escape the burning bus. The terrified bus driver ran out of the vehicle, rushing to find nearby people for help. As the flames spread further, the cat teacher stayed behind, doing her best to help the last few students get out. Just when she was nearly exhausted and the fire began to surround her, the firefighters arrived in time. They quickly put out the fire and safely evacuated everyone. The cat teacher hugged the students, breathing a sigh of relief, feeling grateful that everyone was saved.
In a small town, in a cozy little house, there was a kitten named Max. Max was a smart and adorable cat, but he was also very demanding. One day, Max's mother, Luna, took him to the supermarket. While passing by the electronics counter, Max spotted the latest PS5 game console and immediately wanted to have it. Max tugged on his mother's hand and said, "Mom, I want this PS5. All my friends have it." Luna smiled gently, stroked Max's head, and said, "Max, the PS5 is very expensive. I don't have enough money right now." But Max was still determined. "Mom, buy it for me. I want it right now," he cried out in the middle of the supermarket. Luna thought for a moment and then said to her son, "I'll buy it for you next time I come back." As a single mother, Luna had to work very hard to raise Max, and her savings were limited, but her love for her son made her unable to refuse. Luna decided to take on extra work, laboring day and night, hoping to soon have enough money to buy Max the PS5 he had always wanted. Week after week, Luna worked tirelessly. She woke up early in the morning and returned home late at night, exhausted but still smiling when she saw Max. Finally, after many days of hard work, she had saved enough money to buy the PS5. That day, Luna held the brand new PS5 box in her hands, happily bringing it home. She imagined Max's joyful face when he received the gift. But on the way home, something unfortunate happened. Luna was hit by a car and fell to the ground, the PS5 box slipping from her hand. When Max heard that his mother had been in an accident, he rushed to the hospital with a heavy heart. Seeing his mother lying on the hospital bed, injured, Max felt deep remorse and regret. He realized that he had been selfish and hadn't considered his mother's hardships. Max sat by his mother's bed, held her hand, and tearfully said, "Mom, I'm sorry. I don't need the PS5 anymore. I just need you. I love you so much." Luna, despite her pain, smiled at Max and gently said, "Max, I love you too. Remember, our love is more important than anything in this world." From that day on, Max changed completely. He became more obedient and cared more for his mother. Max understood that his mother's love and care were the most precious things in his life, and nothing could compare. No matter how much the PS5 was worth, it could never replace the love of his family.
One beautiful day, Milo's class went on an outdoor picnic. Milo, the little kitten, was extremely excited as this was his first time going on a field trip with his class. However, as soon as the bus started moving, Milo began to feel unwell. He got car sick, his head spinning, and his stomach churning, making him feel unbearable discomfort. It wasn't long before Milo threw up a lot in the bus, messing up his clothes and the seats around him. The other kittens in the class laughed and teased Milo for this embarrassing accident. Feeling ashamed and hurt, Milo began crying loudly in the bus, unable to bear the teasing from his classmates. When they arrived at the campsite, Milo was still sad, and no one wanted to play with him because of the incident on the bus. Milo sat alone in a corner, feeling incredibly lonely and isolated. Seeing this, their teacher, Miss Cat, came over and gently comforted Milo. She explained to him that getting carsick and vomiting was something no one could control. The teacher then gathered the other kittens and explained to them why they should not tease others, but instead help their friends during tough times. After listening to the teacher, the kittens felt guilty for laughing at Milo. They came over to apologize to Milo and invited him to join in the camping games. Milo happily accepted their apology and quickly rejoined the group. Together, they played and laughed under the sunshine and amidst the lush green grass. The picnic was filled with laughter, and no one remembered the incident on the bus anymore. Milo realized that even in tough times, friendship and understanding were always more important.
In a small corner of the city, there was a cat named Toby. Toby was a young cat with pale yellow fur and sad eyes. He had no one to rely on, so he had to fend for himself and wander the streets. Every day, Toby roamed the streets to make a living, often scavenging for leftovers in the trash. But life on the streets was harsh. Sometimes for days on end, he couldn't find anything to eat. His rumbling stomach made Toby increasingly weak and desperate. One afternoon, while passing by a sausage shop, Toby caught a whiff of a delicious aroma that made his hungry stomach growl even more. He stood in front of the shop, staring longingly at the sausages on display. Toby knew he didn't have any money to buy them, but his hunger clouded his judgment. In a moment of impulse, Toby dashed into the shop, grabbed a sausage, and ran away. The shopkeeper saw him and immediately called the police. Toby tried to escape, but soon found himself surrounded by the authorities. The little cat trembled before them. His eyes were filled with both fear and sadness, reflecting his deep despair. One of the policemen named John approached. He initially wore a stern expression, but when he saw the skinny little cat and its pleading eyes, his heart softened. But instead of scolding him, he bent down and stroked the little cat's head. "You must be starving." Instead of taking Toby to jail, John brought the little cat to the police station. He fed Toby and took care of him. Toby explained that a few years ago, his mother had fallen ill, so he had to go out and earn money to take care of her. Despite his best efforts, his mother did not survive. After hearing about Toby's tragic situation, the other policemen were deeply moved. They decided to take care of the little cat together. Day by day, Toby gradually adjusted to his new life at the police station. He no longer had to worry about going hungry, and he always had a friend to play with. John, the first policeman to meet Toby, grew increasingly attached to the little cat. He decided to adopt Toby, bringing him home and caring for him like a member of his family. From then on, Toby no longer had to live a homeless life. The little cat who once lived in poverty and hardship now had a home and someone to love and care for him. Although Toby's life had been very difficult, thanks to the kindness of the policeman, the little cat finally found true happiness.